Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I wanted to pop on and do a thyroid video talking about thyroid and weight loss and hormones and all the things. So I drew this really fantastic picture. It's pretty fantastic, right? I try to keep it like as condensed as possible while also trying to make sense. So if you've got questions, let me know. And I'm going to go through here and talk about some of these issues here as really big triggers for women, is why they have issues or why they're so frustrated with thyroid and all the hormone things and everything, right? So here we go. Thyroid. Thyroid gland is right here. It's like they describe it as like a butterfly shaped gland. Sure. Okay, it like resembles-ish a butterfly maybe. It's not super butterfly, right? But it's like bigger here and more narrow here. Bow tie-ish, right? It's right there. Why don't they say bow tie? That's kind of where it is, right? Right here at the base. This is also why people don't get enough iodine in their system. Their thyroid can't function properly, so you get like a goiter. Those aren't really a thing nowadays, but they used to be a thing. Google goiter if you want to be grossed out. Just, you're welcome. Okay. I'm not going to get sidetracked too much on this one, but it's right here and how it works and functions because it's a gland, and this is how everything in the human body works. This is why I'm so fascinated with anatomy and physiology and how the human body works, because your brain controls everything, right? It controls everything. It tells everything what to do and when. Your heart beats, you breathe, the blood pumps, like all these like chemical reactions happen because your brain tells it to. You don't know that that's what it's doing. It's doing it. Your brain is amazing and is the power center of everything and transmits that information through your spinal cord and the nerves. Boom, there you go. So cool, so cool. And then we look at the endocrine system and all these hormones that flood and go through the body, and then how your body reads that. Now, sometimes when we look at the human body, like of course I always say, it's divinely made, there's no accidents in it, in how your body is formed and the function of it. But sometimes I'm like, well, could this have been a little more efficient? I don't know. This is one of them. This is just one of them, right? Right? Okay. And also, I'll show you why in just a minute. So, when we talk about this, it's important to recognize, and I talked about the brain because this is where it starts. This is where everything starts for the thyroid, in the brain. Hypothalamus and pituitary, weird looking places in your noggin. I won't get into it more than that. That's all you need to know. They're in the brain. I know, so funny, right? This is like a game of telephone. It's a game of telephone. Hypothalamus is supposed to tell the pituitary what to do, right? Thyrotropin releasing hormone. Hey, pituitary, pass this on. Okay. Pituitary then releases thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, and that thyroid, get to work, buddy. Game of telephone, boom, tells your thyroid what to do. Super duper. Oftentimes when you're getting your thyroid tested, you get your TSH levels tested. This is what they're testing. If you get a blood level, if you're like, oh yeah, I went in and I got my thyroid tested and they said it was fine, what they're testing is just your TSH, your thyroid stimulating. So just what the pituitary told it. That one piece of information. We've all played telephone before, right? We all know how this works, right? Okay. This is why we struggle so much with thyroid. So thyroid then gets this, from your pituitary, and it says, okay, sweet, I'm going to make some T4 and T3, right? Great. All right, that gets to your tissues. Then once it's in your tissues, your body, then it converts even more T4 to T3. And then when those amounts are in your system, just doing their thing everywhere, this is what's called a negative feedback system. So only when these levels are too high or too low, those levels they go everywhere in the body. Hormones and everything, they pass through everywhere, right? It passes through the blood-brain barrier, right? And I've talked about this before, but I'm going to do another video this week on estrogens and things like that and the blood-brain barrier. Really important. But this is a negative feedback system. So once these levels are in your system, it then triggers both pituitary and hypothalamus to let it know what the levels really are. Negative feedback system. So when or if these levels, say this gets too low, it then relays the message, right? It's then, then that telephone gets continued on and be like, psst, psst, hey, we're too low here. Okay, all right, hey, it's too low. Hey, it's too low. Okay, I'll make more. Or if it's like too high, too high. Oh, we don't need so much. We don't need so much. Calm down. Take it down a notch. Okay, right? Right? Wouldn't you just want to be like, hey, buddy, make more or less right here? No, it goes through this whole bigger loop, which means it can take longer. And then when there's more, messages involved, that message can get misinterpreted, we'll say. And that's why a lot of women have issues with their thyroid. Yes. Now, this is a very general outline of how thyroid works. Because it is very complex, it's integrated into a lot of other systems in the body, your hormones, your endocrine system. It's never just a simple thing, but I'm trying to simplify it just to explain it and why people are so frustrated. So if you're getting a thyroid test and you're like, oh, it says it's fine, but I'm feeling like crap. Okay, yep. You might need to get your T4, T3, right, reverse T3 tested, because that's actually telling you what's free and bound, what's free and then what's bound in your system to, like, what are the levels really doing? What are the levels really doing? Otherwise, all you're testing with a TSH is just what the pituitary is telling your thyroid, right? So you're only getting a tiny piece of the message, we'll say. And when we're looking at issues, and I see this a lot for women, and I see it a lot when I go over things like their Dutch test, when we're going over things like the Dutch test, talking about their levels. So if you have not gotten a Dutch, if you are not familiar with it, I'm going to put a link right here in the comments. You can click this link, learn more about the Dutch test, what it is. It's a test for your comprehensive hormones. It tests estrogens, progesterones, testosterones, cortisols, everything. It does not test your thyroid specifically, but a lot of times if you're like, okay, I got my thyroid tested and it was fine, or I'm on a thyroid, what the heck, why am I still having issues? It's because, usually it's related to these other things over here. So this is super fun. If you are somebody who's like, yeah, my thyroid level was tested normal, my TSH was within a normal range, but I still have all these problems, bam, increase in your estrogens can cause this conversion that's supposed to happen in your tissues not to happen. Yeah, which means your system's not getting that message necessarily correctly. Because it'd be like, well, I have some of it, but it's not triggering back to the brain that it's not the right amount of that conversion, because it's too much of maybe the T4 and not enough T3, right? Maybe not enough reverse T3 there because of the increased estrogens in your system. Basically, the increased estrogens are mucking this up, but you still have enough in your body, so this message gets cut off here. So your brain's like, oh, you're fine. You're fine. I don't see the problem, right? This level's still normal because of this blocks this here, right? You can look at nutrient deficiencies. Nutrient deficiencies do this too. Bam. Liver issues. If your liver isn't processing your hormones, your cortisols, things like that, bam, does not allow these levels and these conversions to happen like they should. And my favorite culprit, which is rampant for everybody right now, right? Stress. Stress ruins everything. Stress ruins everything. Increased stress, acute stress. If you've been under an extreme amount of stress for like a week or two, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going nuts here. Yeah, it can ravage your system. Or if you're somebody who's like, you know what? I think I've been under a lot of stress for like the past 6 months. And I'm really just becoming aware of, I've been trying to do all this self-care stuff and feel better, and none of it's making any impact. What the ever-loving heck? Oh, it's the impact of stress on your system. So good. So really, a lot of these things that, again, we test for these things. We test for these things in the Dutch. That's what we find out. We're finding the why behind the what here, so we can help your system work and function better. Because if it's not this area over here that's a problem, it's over here. Why is it over here? Okay, let's work on that. Let's help get your body functioning better so you feel better, so you're able to get and keep better results. That's really the basics for what we're doing here, right? Sue's asking, is there a way for one T3 or T4 to be high and the others be low, but your total is within range? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Absolutely, Sue. And again, which one is it? Again, I don't have your labs per se on that. But again, when we look at why would it be that way, where are these things at? Right? When you're looking at something like, chicken, egg, right? What are we doing here? If this is normal, we have to start looking for another culprit, right? Mary, I love how real you are and how you explain it. Oh, thanks, Mary. Good. I'm glad that this is making sense. I really wanted to make it, because can be very complicated. And if you try and Google some of this, there might be some things where you're like, this seems like it's missing stuff, or you might see other stuff where you're like, okay, this is way too much. I have no idea what's happening. Oh my gosh. So that's a thing too. Does it test the pituitary levels? The Dutch test does not test pituitary, right? It doesn't test that. So Dutch test is testing stress, estrogens, nutrient deficiencies. We're looking at liver. We're looking at progesterones. We're looking at all those things. Why is that happening, right? When you're looking at your pituitary, you're testing the TSH. It's not very common that they would test this either. This is not very common at all. Only if somebody's like really digging. Like you're like, oh, all these levels are perfect, but something's up, right? Not as common at all. It's if this is normal, right? This is what's most common for women. This is normal. And you're like, I feel like a pile of hot garbage here. What the heck? I'm trying to keep it PG, clearly. Where's the issue here? It's usually over here. So that's what we test in the Dutch. That's what we're looking at. So again, in the comments, click that link, take a peek at it, and see if it's the right thing for you. It gets sent right to your house. You send in the results. We go over it. And I do that because I want to make sure that, you understand why this is happening in your system. And then what can you do to work with it? There's so many things out there where people are like, oh, to just this one thing or whatever. Our systems are so much more complex than that. And when you add in stress and the impact of stress on our bodies, oh my gosh, it's unreal how much women are suffering right now with their hormones because of the increased stress in our lives. And even if you're like, I'm okay, like, I'm not dying, like, I have a home and I have food, like, life's okay for me. There's still a lot of stress in the world that we take on, and that impacts our systems and how our bodies process everything, right? It impacts how our bodies process things. So it's important to know, okay, where are my levels really at, and where should I really focus my attention? If you've been trying to target and focus your attention in one area and say, I got to work out harder, I got to do this better, and that's going to really help me, and it's not getting you anywhere, stop wasting your energy in an area that's not moving you forward, right? That's not going to be the thing, It's like if somebody spills milk in your kitchen, you're not going to go, vacuum the living room. That's not, right? Find the problem, fix the problem, right? Yes. So that's kind of a basic rundown of what I see a lot for women, and the women that I work with, thyroid issues, hormone issues, all these things. They're very closely intertwined together, and it really does matter. We're not thinking PG inside our bodies and brains. Thanks, Jessica. Yes. I had my thyroid ablated 20 plus years ago, and just in the last 5 years, hitting 50, it's been a real problem. Gained 20 pounds in the last 3 years and want it gone. Yes, would love to see, finally figure out why. Yeah, you know why that probably is? It's going to be in this area over here. It's going to be in this area here. That's really, classic for what we're looking at. Like, oh, I've been fine for a long period of time, and all of a sudden, in the last 5 years, everything's taken a nosedive. What the heck is happening? Dutch test. That's what we find out. We find out what the heck is happening. Otherwise, you can spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy chasing different things down that don't end up getting you the right results. So I love Dutch test because it's just clear as day. Clear picture. Love it. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys tonight. That's my thyroid picture. So pretty. It's so pretty, right? All right, if you've got questions, let me know. And if you want me to dive into something different, or if you want me to dive into more about stress and the female body and hormones and what's really happening with our systems right now, I totally can. I'm super jazzed about that right now. Yeah, but if you need other resources, let me know. Dutch test really is a fantastic way to start, though. And then other resources I have for you, my book, The Female Fat Solution. This is on Amazon, and it, again, outlines a lot of fantastic things for you in terms of nutrition for hormones, your cycle, everything, metabolism tactics, things like that. And I also address different phases of life. I call it the 7 bodies of Eve, right? You go to different bodies in your life. Each body that you inhabit, right, different time frame of your life, you need different nutrients to address it. Yes. I have my podcast, The Female Health Solution, and that's on all places podcast. And then my YouTube channel is called Dr. Beth Westy, and you can subscribe to that to stay updated on all these wonderfully colorful videos that I like to do. I got super excited about trying to color code, like this being green and then this being blue and going to purple and then, right? I had to write this in orange though, because I tried to do brown for the brain and then it didn't show up very well. Anyway, all right. That's what I got for you guys tonight. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you need any other resources. But if you guys want, I can talk more about stress and the brain and your hormones and why you're struggling with brain fog, anxiety, and weight gain. Yeah, you let me know. You let me know. Yes. All right. I'll see you guys later. I hope you have a great rest of your night and have great sleep. All right. Bye.